I'm going to be covering the values by level, so if you want to skip to a certain level, check the comments for timestamps. But first, here's what you need to know about hyperchromes. These are the colors in order of best demand to worst demand. Harder robberies to grind like Tomb and Bank have the highest demand, and the easiest one, Train, has the lowest. And here are the number of robberies for a guaranteed hyperchrome at each level. It is still possible to get any hyperchrome before that by luck. Alright, starting with the hyper level 1s. Most people know the values of these pretty well. It's hard to trade for a hyperchrome level 1 for less than 1 million value because of the trade filter, but it's not uncommon to find hyperchromes for 500,000. A lot of people avoid trading for hyper level 1s, but if you get it in a trade like that, then it's pretty easy to make profit. Alright, next, hyper level 2s. For a hyper level 2, the trade filter requires at least 2 million value. So for the values, the lowest colors get around 2 million. For the medium demand level 2s, purple, diamond, blue, and pink, those ones can get around gold value, so 2.5 to 3 million. And for the highest demand level 2s, red and green, at most they can get pixel and gold, so around $4 to $4.5 million. People get hyper level 1s and 2s by luck sometimes, but level 3 and above are usually obtained from people deliberately grinding, so the prices start to rise. So from lowest to highest demand again, starting with level 3 yellow, I would say it gets 5 to 7.5 million. Orange 3 going for around 1 Brulee or 10 million. Purple 3 for gold and Brulee or 12.5 million. Both pink and diamond 3 go for around 15 million, but I would say diamond has arguably better demand. Now for the highest demand level 3s, blue 3 goes for around 22.5 million, green 3 gets around 30 million, and the highest, red 3, gets around 35 million, or checker or void or thruster, something like that. Trading for level 3s can be very useful if you want to grind for a level 4, because you'll see level 4s get quite a bit more value, and grinding from level 3 to 4 can be easier than grinding from level 4 to 5. And getting past level 3, all these hyperchromes are worth quite a bit because people have put days of grinding into them. So now for level 4s. The lowest demand yellow 4 gets around 30 million to 35 million. Orange 4 gets around 35 million to 40 million. For the medium demand level 4s, purple, pink, and diamond, they all go for around 1 torpedo, but I would say that purple 4 has slightly lower demand than the other two. And for the higher demand level 4s, green 4 gets around 11 Brulees. Almost forgot, blue 4 gets 10 Brulees. And red 4 can go for around 11.5 Brulees or even 2 torpedoes. Since red is the hardest hyperchrome to grind, people are willing to overpay for red 4 to get their own OG red 5s. People trading for level 4 hyperchromes are wanting them to be able to grind them to get their own OG hyper level 5. Practically, this just means that people are more willing to overpay for certain levels and certain colors. Alright, now for the crazy expensive ones, the level 5s. Personally, I would never trade for a level 5. If I wanted one, I would just trade for the level 4 and then grind it to a level 5. That being said, if you're wanting to trade for a hyper level 5, you need to know the difference between a max times traded hyper level 5, aka a duped level 5, and a regular clean hyper 5. So I'll tell you the value for a 49 times traded of each level 5 and a regular clean level 5. Starting with the lowest demand hyper level 5, yellow 5. If it's clean, it gets around 75 million, and if it's 49 times traded, it gets around 40 million. Next, orange 5, clean, it gets around 100 million, and 49 times traded, it gets around 50 to 45 million. Next, both hyper purple and pink 5 get around 130 million clean, and 49 times traded, they both get around 50 million. Pink 5 gets a little bit more than purple 5. Diamond 5 gets around 145 million to 150 million if it's clean, and if it's duped, it gets around 50 million. Blue 5 goes for around 200 to 225 million if it's clean, and if it's duped, it gets 50 to 55 million. Next, green 5, it gets 220 to 230 million, and 49 times traded, it gets 57 to 60 million. Finally, the most expensive, Hyper Red 5. For a duped level 5, you can usually get around torpedo and ads, but otherwise, if it's clean, it can go for 26 Brulees. I've seen low TT clean Hyper Red 5s go for around 6 torpedoes. I know it sounds insane, but I've seen it happen. But like I said, I would never personally trade for hyper level 5s, but if you want to, you can try to find them cheaper if they're 49 times traded, but it's not a guarantee to be able to find a duped hyper level 5. I used to be scared of trading for hyperchromes, but now I know there's tons of profit to be made. If you don't know a lot about hyperchromes but you want to try to grind for one, I would suggest trading for a level 3 and trying to go for a level 4, then you can trade it for a lot more profit. And I've already talked about it before, but if you trade for level 4s, you can grind them, and then once they level up, they'll become your own OG level 5. Anyway, I hope this value list helps you, and I can't guarantee that it will always be these values. They'll probably change in the future. Also, if you didn't agree with any of the things I said, don't mention it to me because I don't really care. At the end of the day, these values are my opinion, and if you want to follow them, that's up to you. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Also, I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so if it was helpful to you, consider supporting me by liking the video and subscribing. Thank you very much.